This is Category 5 Technology TV, episode number 499 for Wednesday, the 12th of April, 2017. Welcome to the show. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight as Henry and I learn about resistance. We're going to be kicking off our Maker series as we endeavor to become electronic makers. Everything from the Raspberry Pi to resistors and capacitors and all the things that we're going to need, from tools to the kit itself. You want to stick around. We're going to be kicking things off with the very most basics as we get started on that series. Lots of great fun coming up. Don't go anywhere.
This is Category 5 Technology TV.
Our live recordings are trusted only to solid-state drives by Kingston Technology. Revive your computer with improved performance and reliability over traditional hard drives with Kingston SSDs.
Category 5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Category 5.tv/TPN. And the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. Category 5.tv/IAIB.
I'll just correct, cat5.tv/IAIB. That'll get you there.
Totally.
Because cat5.tv, that is our URL shortener.
Really?
Yeah, you said Category 5.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool.
Gosh dang it.
But it won't get you there.
So think of the cats. Think of cute, fluffy cats.
What kind
and
of
add 5.
guy would register a short version of the domain as a URL shortener?
Oh, no. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, whenever you see cat5.tv, those are our short URLs to take you to other websites, where category5.tv is our actual big full-out website. Henry, Baillie-Brown joining me here in the studio tonight. Nice to see you again.
It's great to see you guys.
I'm Robbie Ferguson. Sasha Dermatis is here, but she figured out how to go invisible for 30 days.
Exactly. She finally did it. So proud of her.
Oh, boy. You guys had a lot of fun last week.
It was absolutely fantastic.
That was a riot. Now, I got to be here in studio, but I didn't get to really be part of the show. You guys took charge.
We tried to get rid of you, but we just couldn't, right? Like, you just couldn't leave it. No, just kidding.
In spirit.
No. It was great.
That was a lot of fun. And you took a look at a kit that is available at cat5.tv/maker. I love it. Tonight we're getting into some maker stuff. While
so
Sasha's
cool.
away, the makers will play.
Exactly.
That's how it goes. So tonight we're getting into some of the basics. But before we do, we've got some a little bit of housekeeping to do. I want to say hey to our chat room. I see Jeff Weston is actually joining us there live in the chat room as well. So nice to see you. I see also Dennis Kelly and Garby, Sparkly Balls, and a bunch of others. Looks like there's a ton of you just joining us tonight, so thanks for being here with us. And hopefully, you're going to get in there as well.
What?
It's your MacBook.
Yeah, I'm all the way down here. That's why I'm slightly
BB
leaning.
Has quit. Yeah,
I'm just kind of like,
That's how it goes. All right.
Hello.
Well, so on our website, category5.tv, one of the cool ways that you can support us is by going through our partner links. And you can go to support us and then shop through our partners. Chipolo has been added, and Chipolo is a great little device. It's the size of a coin, and it will allow you to track your lost stuff.
That is very neat.
You stick one in your wallet, and you'll be able to track it down if you leave it somewhere. Or if it gets stolen, maybe you'll be able to find it.
Knock on wood.
It'll help you with that. So Chipolo is now available as a direct purchase through the manufacturer through our partner links, and by doing that, you're going to save up to 30% off of the retail price. And I saw as well that they've introduced some kits where you can buy like 4 or 7 of these at a time, and
that's handy.
You're going to save a ton of money by doing that. They give you a rather substantial discount on that.
Wow.
Big seller on our website this week is kind of fun because of the topic of the show. Tonight, of course, we're getting into maker and becoming a maker, a little bit of hands-on tech. The Raspberry Pi 3 kit is our top seller again this week, and the Raspberry Pi is a ton of fun.
Unlimited awesomeness.
I just keep swapping out micro SD cards and doing all kinds of stuff.
It's so simple. It's so fun, though. That's exactly it. And you can literally make anything you want.
I love it.
It's amazing.
There's mine. See that?
It's the future now.
This is not the case that comes with the kit, but this is one that you can buy separately. I love it. But the one that's in the kit is great as well. I just happened to buy the Raspberry Pi board by itself.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the kit
just get one.
separately, and that's because I already had SD cards and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, but so far, what I've done is built a LAMP server for hosting websites. I've built a backup system that on a Raspberry Pi it SSHs to all of my servers and uses SCP to copy files around through an encrypted 256-bit encrypted connection, so that I can transfer files around for my personal backups, and it's entirely encrypted during the transit. So
there you go.
So I'm doing that with a Raspberry Pi. Of course, NEMS, the Nagios Enterprise Management System or Monitoring System, is also available. baldnerd.com/NEMS, and we've talked about it on the show. And this is all it takes.
That's amazing.
What have you been doing?
Oh my gosh, my friends and I have been doing so many, and I say my friends and I because I'm part of like a little Discord group, so like a little gamers group online, and we actually have a Pi that helps us with our server. So like with custom commands and stuff, they just use Python. And we're able to use it. It's really fun.
What kind of games are you doing?
So we're hardcore Overwatch players, all that kind of stuff. But no, and we're really able to utilize Pi for actually like helping us as a team, if you want to call us that. But yeah, like myself, like I play around with a lot of hardware stuff, right? So like again, I play with a lot of LEDs and stuff. Saw the stoplight from before. That's small projects like that adding up.
Yeah,
into
you showed
like,
us that. That was awesome.
and I'm trying to get more into the coding. So like trying to make your own again. You can make like your own cloud server, things like that. Hook it up to a hard drive, whatever you want.
Well, what have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 USB ports on there. We've got micro SD. We've got GPIO headers that we can... I know we don't have a whole lot... There's a lot of shadows, but you see the GPIO headers there?
There you go.
So it gives us an opportunity to expand as well. It's got a connector for a camera. It's got a display connector. And, of course, HDMI output and all that kind of stuff. So it makes a good little... solid-state server.
It's true, exactly. And I've seen there's a lot of stuff on Reddit as well, and it's really interesting to see what a lot of people are doing with their Pis, right? From everything from like a security server for like security cameras and stuff, all the way to like I've seen this one. Well, I don't think it's the Olympic trials, but they're using it for like controlling the big LED clocks in some gyms for like Olympic centers. It's really interesting.
Wow, they could really go all out.
Yeah, no, and it's fun. Like it's a great simple unit. It's inexpensive, but you can do so much with it, and that's the exciting part. And that's...
Have you got your Pi kit yet? Go to cat5.tv/Pi, Henry. We've got an email sent to us by GoodGuy98 who says, Hello.
Hello.
I thought this information may be interesting to the Category 5 community of viewers, so I'm passing this along. You got to check out Diet Pi.
Diet Pi.
Have you ever heard of it?
Am I supposed to stop with Raspberry Pis now, or no?
It looks pretty slim to me. Doesn't
what about strawberry pie? Okay, so Diet Pie. What's a Diet Pie? Is it like a...
Well, Diet Pie, I would expect, is Raspberry Pi sweetened with sucralose.
Really? Is it like smaller or something, or what's a Diet Pie?
That's the thing. Let's check it out. So I'm going to just bring up a browser window on my computer. I've never heard of this either, Henry, but very, very curious. DietPi.com. DIETPI.com. A lightweight justice for your single board computer.
That is
optimized, simplified. Ooh, nice looking website too. Oh, although the text is cut off, so I spoke too soon.
Oh no.
What do we got? Okay, lightweight justice. Diet Pi is an extremely lightweight Debian Jessie OS with images starting at only 400 megabytes, 3 times lighter than Raspbian Light. What? Wow. Lighter than light?
How can you be... How light is... Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because you think that this... How can you get so small? Like, how it's like, how can you make a cloud lighter?
I love Linux.
It's just...
What else we got? Truly optimized. What does it say? Highly optimized. Looks like they've got some good information, too.
Wow.
Comparatives. Total image size. Raspbian Light, 1.4 gigs. Diet Pi, 589 megs.
Oh my gosh.
Half of the system resource needs as far as memory goes. Boots faster. Root file system uses less space. That sounds awesome. I use Raspbian Light for like NEMS and any of the server stuff that I do.
Yeah.
Kind of want to check this out. Thank you.
That
good guy,
seems
for
really
the tip.
interesting. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate that. So a very, very lightweight, optimized kind of OS for your Raspberry Pi. Definitely want to check out dietpi.com. Cool stuff. Well, this is Category 5 Technology TV. Welcome to the show. You'll find our website at www.category5.tv. Tonight, Henry and I are kind of getting into the Maker Kit, getting a look at it. Henry, the first kind of project that I started working on, I'll just explain a little bit of backstory.
Okay, here we go.
The ladies from New Every Day use lapel microphones.
All right.
They look like this. Okay, so that clips on their shirt, and then it goes into a power pack. This is like basically phantom power for the microphone because they require power.
Okay,
but the camera only has 2 inputs, left and right. So they're stuck with 2 mics. So recently they've been doing some interviews, and it gets really, really tough when they've got 3 people on the set. They can't mic them. They can't mic everybody. So I came up with this little super simple. Now I'm a beginner maker, so I'm just learning how to do all this kind of stuff, but I came up with this. Plugs into the camera.
Sneaky.
There it is. So it's just a like an 1/8 inch 3.5 millimeter stereo plug.
Yeah.
And it goes to this breakaway box that has 4 1/4 inch inputs. And I've just used Ethernet cable to make it happen.
So it's a full connection. There you go.
There you go. So you plug that into the camera, and then you've got 2 microphones on each side. So you just find, you figure out who's got approximately the same volume of speech, and there you go. So that's kind of one of my first builds. I've done a couple other ones.
We're so proud of you, Robbie.
I love. See, I go to Sayal. I've told you about this place.
Yeah, you have, and
There's
it's amazing
a store
local
on
place.
the south end of Barrie. If you haven't been, if you're in the Barrie area, you've got to check them out. It's called Sayal. That's where you can get kit like this. Now, you can also get them on Amazon and stuff, and so go through our affiliate links, and you'll find what you need. I am just old school, and I love going up and down the aisles and going, oh, that would make a good kit. Oh, that would be a cool piece.
Well, that's where your imagination gets in, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like...
So then I'm looking, even choosing the type of end that I want for the plug so that it's a 90-degree angle so that it points to the floor when it plugs into the camera.
Exactly.
Like those kind of things instead of plugging in that way.
Wow.
So, I love that. So being able to walk into a store, I don't know if you've got any stores like that. It's like the old style Radio Shack when you used to be able just to browse
tech
the aisles.
Everywhere. Just bits and bobs of parts and
so kind
switches.
Of about this little thing.
Totally nerding out right now. That's
I know. It's so simple and
how
yet
long
so
did it
fun.
take you to do that, Robbie?
About an hour.
An hour, right?
Well, once I had all the stuff.
Oh, yeah. I
went to the
store.
Go
shopping.
I obviously spent about 7 hours in the store and way overspent. And my wife said, starts looking at the itemized receipt and go, "What's this?
It's like 100 items.
How much exactly did you spend on that?" But that's kind of how it goes. But that's what it is. So one of the ways, though, that you can save a lot of money, Henry, is through a kit like what you were looking at last week.
Okay.
And the purpose behind picking up a kit is really so that because I would go to Sayal, one of these electronic stores, and I would buy all the pieces that I need for a particular project.
Yeah, you just bring them all in.
I would bring them all in, and then I would build the project, and then I would go back and I would buy all the parts for the next project and everything. There's something to be said about just having a bunch of stuff on hand, kind of in bulk, because you get into stuff like resistors that are super cheap by themselves. You don't want to go in and buy 5 of them. You might as well get 500.
That's buy them in bulk, right?
Yeah. This kit, I'll get you to move your coffee so that we can just kind of take a boot here.
Let's make some space. There
this
you go.
kit, we're just going to get into it a little bit heavier this week to show you. So this is available at cat5.tv/maker. You saw it last week, so we're not going to really go through the unboxing process, but you see we've got resistors. So
many resistors.
Many resistors. So with this series, our Maker series here on Category 5 TV, one of the things that we want to do is we want to start from the basics and work our way to some more sophisticated things. We're going to get into television repair.
Oh, that's exciting.
You can pick up a flat screen TV on the side of the road because somebody does, it doesn't work anymore.
We're going to learn here. We're going to learn here.
We're going to fix it. We're going to get a free TV. How do you like that? We might have to buy a capacitor for $6.
Hey. Saves you buying a new TV for like $1,000. Wow.
There's a ton of stuff that you really need to get started. First of all, safety goggles. You might as well steampunk them out. You got your safety goggles?
I feel like you're safer than I am because I'm just here.
Yeah. Safer, nerdier, all of the above.
Hey, it's not a bad thing.
You're gonna need things like resistors. So what do resistors do, Henry?
They resist the urge
They
of
resist.
power. And I really like how they added different levels of resistors
Sure.
because in basic saying, it's like a tap, right? So I think I remember back in high school when my professor was talking about electricity and resistors. It's like you have a full pipe full of water, but you can't handle the entire full pipe. So what do? You add like a little resistor. In this case, for electronics resistor. For water, you'd have like a little funnel or something.
So it kind of reduces the voltage
Yeah.
of whatever's passing through the wire?
That's what as far as I believe, that's how I was raised.
We're going
to-
Your parents have done well, lad.
Okay.
I was not raised in a home where this kind of thing was readily available or even promoted. I was the kid who would take apart the VCR, get in a boatload of trouble for doing it.
What's a VCR?
And then
I'm just kidding.
It was better.
Yeah.
And then put it all back together again, and it would work better than it did before I took it apart because I would clean the heads and the pinch
Man.
rollers. But
That's
so that was me. So this kind of stuff, a lot of it is new to me. But I used to build like patch panels and things,
Okay.
audio patch panels, and recently I've been really getting into learning to become a maker because I really want to know
there
how
you
to
go.
do this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a homeowner now, and it really drives me mad that I don't know some of the basics of home repair. So then I started learning that kind of stuff. Now that I can do renovations and fix things and do this or that,
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, well, now I really want to be doing this stuff. The electronic stuff is really my passion and what I want to learn. So,
Aw.
so that's why we're going to be getting into this more. So things that you absolutely need, of course, resistors. We're going to learn all about resistance tonight with a very simple demonstration. We've got a couple of relays as well. I love relays. You can
That's
build
exciting.
so many fun things with those, and we're going to learn about those later on in the series. We've got some capacitors as well.
Excellent.
These can be used for repairs. If you ever burn out a capacitor on a motherboard, you can actually fix your motherboard by having those on hand. We've got fuses. We've got multiple different types of capacitors. We've got some ceramic capacitors as well. We've got some LEDs, some alligator clips, more LEDs. Like, it just goes on and on.
Never ends.
These guys, which, Henry, these are called potentiometer.
Nice.
Hooked on phonics worked for me.
Do you have the potential?
Potentiometer. I would have just called it volume knob. The volume
Just call it
knob is
knobs.
called
Just
a
call it twisty
potentiometer. Jeff Weston and the crew here at Category 5, we've been talking about it. We're going to start building a mini arcade game system for
You guys are going to have so much fun.
for the Retro Pi. We're going to actually build that. So we're going to need some of these kinds of things and the knowledge that we're going to learn. The other stuff that you're going to absolutely need, and this is to get started as a maker, so you want to learn how to do electronics.
Oh, yeah.
The kit just makes it so easy because it's all there.
It's all in one
You don't-
place.
You don't have to, and it's all in one place at Sayal, but you don't have to go up and down the aisles to get what you need to get started. So,
Yep.
so I am excited about this. So we've got batteries and loads of them. We've got a 9-volt battery. We're going to learn resistance with that today. So let's set that aside. We've got some 22 gauge wire in 3 different colors. So this is literally just wire that we can use for soldering stuff together.
All right.
We've got some battery compartments so we've got 6 volts, 1.5 volts, and 3 volts. We've got a breadboard, which you showed last week. This is that's pretty decent.
Hello, breadboard.
Looks sweet. And this is for testing, right? So this is so that we can test our circuit, build our circuit, and make sure it works before we start soldering everything together and realize, oh,
Yeah.
did something wrong, right? But I see a ton of exciting stuff in here. It's a great kit. And even just the box itself is really nice.
It's just nice to be organized. It's just nice to have that because whenever I come home from a tech store, I always have everything in bags and
Oh, yeah.
everything gets all over the place. But even if you do start to run out of supplies, it comes with a nice box. So you can.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Like I love things that keep you organized like this.
Is there anything here that we wouldn't use? I really don't think so. Like there's so
I would
much.
use everything. Like even like being into
Everything.
like flight sim and stuff. Like you could use like a lot of these like switches.
Yeah, those are some high grade switches.
Landing
dude.
gear up, landing gear down.
Is that what you're gonna build an airplane?
I actually already have one. Just kidding. No, no, that's exciting though.
All right, so we're gonna learn a little bit about resistance tonight. Beyond our kit, what we need is some tools. So I have
All right.
some of my toolkit here with me. I've got what's called helping hands. This is really, really helpful when you are soldering. It's got a little light that illuminates things. It's got a magnifier so that you can see a lot better as you're working on stuff. So you can clip with these helping hands alligator clips and hold your project as you are soldering.
It's awesome.
So then I've picked up a wireless soldering iron.
Aha.
After seeing Jeff with a wireless one, I thought, well, I'll go out and get a wireless one because it's so convenient.
Just had to.
Now, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah?
The wireless one, I kind of would like to go with a higher grade, like plugged in, because the batteries don't last a huge amount of time, and when they die, it just starts soldering poorly. It doesn't get up to
There's
heat.
no indication. It just starts to happen.
Not
right?
really. And you can change the batteries, or you can buy rechargeables, and that's fine. But realistically, as I get more and more serious about this, this becomes a handy tool to have, but it's not. It shouldn't be my only solder.
Well, that's the thing, is that when you're at your desk, right, like your little workstation.
Oh, you might as well have a hard.
Yeah, you're gonna have hardwired anyways, right? So depending on your usage.
Well, I should.
Right?
I don't. This is the one. This is the one I bought, Henry. So I picked up just a piece of like, what do you call this? Like scouring pad.
Just happiness.
Just from the dollar store.
Yep.
And I use this when the solder's hot. I can just rub that soldering iron on the on that, and it just cleans it up really, really nice.
There you go.
And then we've got some solder here. I've got a pair of clippers. And these clippers actually have a 22 gauge stripper.
That's going to make things a lot easier.
Helps a lot, yeah. Some good
needles.
What do you call these?
Or tweezers.
Tweezers. These are great for holding your project when you're holding things like capacitors. And they get hot as you're soldering. I've got a nice little screwdriver that Kingston provides, and these are great. It's good to just have a good little screwdriver.
That's nice.
So that's kind of my kit. But then the main thing that you're going to absolutely need, Henry, regardless of what you're doing, is a multimeter. You're going to absolutely need to be able to tell things like, have you got continuity? Which is the circuit is complete and there is a flow of electricity. You're going to need to be able to tell how many volts are running through something so you don't blow something up.
Yeah.
And we probably will blow things up.
Oh, that's going to be the
course.
best.
Yeah. Boom.
Just kidding. No.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of blowing things up, we got an email from our viewer who we all know as Orange Man. Should we take a quick look at this?
All right. Let's take a look.
Orange Man writes, "Dear Robbie," and I presume Henry as well.
My name's there. It's just invisible writing.
It's just invisible.
Sasha wrote it, so.
Orange Man actually provided a couple of pictures for us, so I'm going to bring.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to bring these up at the same time.
All right.
Orange Man says, in December, I had an old Raspberry Pi in my workshop in an old cardboard box not being used.
Okay.
I wanted to make the output run on my TV display as a way of displaying videos by connecting an HDMI or VGA cable to the TV. My wife is blind, and she doesn't like a lot of wires around. Makes sense.
Yep.
So I designed it to put inside of a computer chassis along with a power supply. I found a case on Amazon, which was low profile, it has a switching power supply, which provides both 5-volt and 12-volt power. That's interesting that he mentions that.
Yeah.
We were talking about building this arcade system for the RetroPie, and I said we should use a standard computer power supply so that we have 5-volt and 12-volt rails. 12-volt for the monitor, 5-volt for the Pi, and any other kind of peripherals. So that's cool. You know where we are because you've got your finger on it.
Yeah, of course. Just
carry on.
Being a navigator here. It arrived on Christmas Eve. Happy belated Christmas.
Nice.
Yes, we had post on Christmas Eve. That's awesome. So I tested it to see if the power supply worked and wanted to find out which wire was the plus 5 volts and which were the 12 volts.
That's where your multimeter is going to come in.
So, ta-da! Thank you, multimeter. Yep. I tried it twice and it worked okay. Good. But when I tried it for a third time to check out a few other things on the power supply, it just stopped working and was completely dead. That's not good.
Yeah, Orange Man goes on to say, some time back, I obtained some 286 computer power supplies, which also have 5-volt and 12-volt.
Yeah.
This was the same physical size as the one that was in there originally, and it worked every time without going bang. Nice. I got a picture here of the outer chassis. That's kind of the completed box with the wires sticking out of the back. And Orange Man sends us a little bit of a view of what this bad boy looks like on the inside. Henry, if you can carry on with the email there.
Excellent, I'll take, because, you know, the reading skills. Sometime back, you already said that, I wanted to use the USB output of the Pi to power a USB hub to give me more USB outputs. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
That's always useful. The output from the audio socket would be connected to a small jack and then connected via a small audio output. And I thought I would do the same as the audio by plugging a very short HDMI lead into the HDMI socket onto the Pi.
Sweet.
So the socket end of my converter's VGA had a hole cut in the box, so I plugged the VGA to a short cable, but there was some issues with the converter. Okay. Let's see what that was. It was a very intermittent and would only work sometimes. Okay, that's interesting.
No good.
Yeah, so I abandoned this idea and was stuck with an HDMI socket. I cut a hole in the chassis and glued a jack in place so I could easily connect an external HDMI cable. Okay.
Sweet.
But had some trouble. So on Amazon, go
through our web link.
Yeah, sponsor. I cut a hole in the chassis, found an HDMI cable with a female plug on each end. Okay, so I fixed one end to the HDMI socket on the Raspberry Pi, and the other end goes through a hole in the chassis, so the one that I'm guessing he cut, with a grommet, so I can plug it into the TV. Then the kit took about 20 minutes to build. So
you see the HDMI there in the center of your screen. Now, if you follow that cable coming out of the HDMI, he's got a grommet and a cable going out of the computer. And then we've got all kinds of great wiring going on here, Orange Man. Well done. And I see a USB port on the front there.
Okay, we're almost done. He has a brief little paragraph here. So he's been into electronics since he was 10 years old, and now he's 60. So that's a lot of experience.
Way to go, man. Wow, you got 50 years on me.
Yeah, so making the kit was very easy and enjoyable. The network socket from the Raspberry Pi connects to a short external jack, and the keyboard and mouse are both wireless, which saves on the wires, right? Because you wanted to keep
absolutely.
Yeah, space on the wires. It now sits on a shelf in our sitting room, and I can operate the keyboard and mouse without any visible wires. From Orangeman.
Fantastic. Oh, dude, that is awesome.
I love hearing these stories. Thanks for sharing, because it really does. It's always great to hear when people use these with such unique projects.
It's inspiring.
It is.
And at the same time, I'm looking at this, Orange Man, and I'm thinking, this is a build that you would never... Like, I wouldn't have expected to see this from a Raspberry Pi. So you see the motherboard is basically this credit card sized motherboard in the middle there with a bunch of wires going to it. So you've been able to effectively build a computer, a multimedia center with this little tiny computer stuck in the middle.
Yeah, just put it in the center there, and it's so great.
Hold it in with double-sided carpet tape. There you go. Yeah. That's fantastic. I love it, and thank you so much for sharing. And these are some of the things that, I want to learn. Like, how does all that come together? Now, I know how to plug cables in and stuff like that, but to solder from one thing to the next, and we've looked at the GPIO headers of the Raspberry Pi a little bit, and, I know that, some of them are like 5-volt power, so I've connected a fan to it to keep it cool and things like that. So you can do all kinds of little things, but let's expand upon that.
Yeah, let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's see what else we can do with that, right?
Let's get really deep today, Henry.
Okay. Oh, we're getting so deep right now.
We're not getting deep at all, because remember, we're starting with the basics. We're getting started with just learning our way through becoming a maker. So one of the things that I love to have on hand is Make Electronics. This book, you can pick it up at cat5.tv/maker. And you called it the Bible of Happiness.
It really well, not even that, but it's just like electronics, really. Like, you're just starting all the way to what is an ohm up to building your own little radio, and it gets you started. And this is, all of that knowledge put together. And you'll see that a lot of the components from the kits, so the kit that we carry, the components themselves, there's that switch that we were looking at, and, needing a breadboard, and all of these things are included in that kit. So it gets you started. So really, really handy, really, really good to have. I know that the internet is a go-to resource, but this is so well organized. It's nice to have something on actual paper, because,
really is,
and again, it gives you...
that's the old schoolness.
That's the thing, though, is that it gives you a great learning process, right? Because anyone can go out onto Reddit, Google, search cool projects, but this literally starts you from the ground up, and helps you
right
build
from the basics.
It makes you build positive habits, pretty much, right? And I think that's important because when didn't go to school for electronics, obviously. I'm an aviation guy. But it's just being able to say, yeah, when you're solder, make sure you do this. Don't burn yourself, obviously.
Right, yeah. And he's witty. The author, Charles Platt, is a lot of fun. And some of that will be reflected through our series, because this is part of how I'm learning, is through this book. Things like, you know, we're learning about a multimeter. And you know, it will say, you know, generally, you know, there is power behind this. It's not going to hurt you unless you stab yourself in the eye.
Knock on wood. That's not good.
So watch out for it. So pick up one of these books if you want to get started. Even if you are experienced, it takes you back to the basics, as Henry's saying. But so we learn things like, not only, okay, what does a resistor do, but how does it work? And why does it work? And
what do the lines mean on the side, right?
What do the lines mean? We're going to learn all about that kind of stuff. So so tonight we're going to start with our multimeter and how does this thing work. So basically this is a pretty decent multimeter that my father-in-law gave me. And so it's pretty cool. I love it. We've got so many different features, like a continuity test is an important one for me. You can hear that beep? That just means that there's continuity.
Yep.
Tonight we're going to learn a couple of other things with this, but it's got basically your multimeter has 3 or 4 inputs. We've got our common, which is your black. That's going to be shared no matter what it is that you're testing. We've got voltage and things like that. And then we've got amps. We've got continuity. I'm not sure what that symbol means. One of our viewers will know that one, unless you do. And ohms, which is your ohms resistance, which is what we're going to be focusing on tonight, because that is what we're going to be learning with resistors. Which, as Henry mentioned at the top of the show, is going to help us to limit the amount of voltage going to something so that we don't blow it up. But another fun thing about
making things go bang.
Yeah,
right?
another fun thing with this book is that he will actually walk us through blowing things up. I was skimming this, and we're going to find out what happens when we short circuit a battery.
Don't do this I was about to say don't do this at home, but it's just, if you buy the book, then you have to do it at home.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got a 9-volt battery here, Henry.
Okay.
Are you feeling brave?
Oh, you're going to make me do it, aren't you?
I'm going to make you do it.
Because, like, in the book, there's even, like, a diagram. There's a cartoon, and we showed it last week.
I know, and he looks like he's in pain. When we come back, we're going to test ohms resistance using Henry's face. Don't go anywhere. Jeff Weston.
Yeah, man.
You're building a brand new, beautiful website.
What?
Aren't you?
No. Am I?
Oh, you're a terrible actor.
What?
This is where acting comes into play.
Oh, I didn't know we were acting.
You're supposed to act.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I'm building a really cool website. Are you building a really cool website? You need hosting. One of the things about a hosting account is you don't want to have limitations put on your website.
It's true.
How much hard drive space do you have? How many email accounts? How many domains can point to it? Well, we've got an amazing deal for you. For a very limited time, cat5.tv/dreamhost, for just $5 and a bit of change per month, you are going to get unlimited website hosting, unlimited email accounts on that hosting service. You are also going to receive a free domain name.
Ooh.
So your own .com.
Nice.
To put that amazing website that you've been working on
true.
there. If you want to build a WordPress site, fine. Sign up, cat5.tv/dreamhost.
Just don't put Panama Papers on it.
Just don't do it. But hey, it's a great deal, folks. Best deal you're going to find. $5 and change per month. Go to cat5.tv/dreamhost. Welcome back. This is Category 5 Technology TV, and tonight we are becoming entry-level makers.
I'm starting to get nervous here.
I've got a 9-volt battery.
It's only 9 volts.
I was going to get a 16-volt battery for you.
Oh.
But they only had 9 volts. Sorry.
Thanks, guys.
Do not do that at home. 9 volts safe. Anything higher than that, I would probably not do this experiment.
It's a very shocking experience, though.
This is a brand new 9-volt battery. Have you ever done this before?
When I was, like, a kid. They taste good. It's not like one of those new, like, Switch console things that taste really bad. Like, you heard about... Never mind.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Somebody
here.
out there will get.
Now, quick disclaimer: anything that we're going to be doing through the course of the series is generally safe, but does require adult supervision. So if your
Do you
kid,
count as an adult?
I don't know.
I'm technically an adult now, so I can supervise myself.
Okay, so moisten your tongue. Make sure it's nice and wet, and then give it a lick.
I'm scared now. Yeah.
Did it hurt?
It was hot.
It was hot?
Yeah, it was warm.
Like that? Oh,
Yeah.
I am so glad that he was willing to do that.
I think the battery works. I think it works. I feel like Jar Jar Binks from like episode 1.
But it didn't hurt that bad, right? Like this.
No, it's fine.
Okay. All right. I've got a paper towel here for you.
Thank you.
I want you to stick out your tongue and dry your tongue with this, and then do the exact same experiment, okay? I want your tongue to be dry. Is it dry? Okay, give it a go. Did it do anything? Nothing?
I still felt a little bit, but it was
Just a little bit?
yeah.
So why is that?
Is there any room for stuff to flow?
This is interesting thought, but why do we need to be careful in a lightning storm in the rain? Because when we're wet, we're very conductive, or we have a lower ohms resistance. So something with low ohms resistance, such as copper or aluminum, is going to be a conductor. It's going to carry that electrical flow very, very nicely. Your wet tongue, it has a low ohms resistance. Something with a high ohms resistance, which means it resists the flow of electricity, like a resistor or like PVC plastic, or the why do they put rubber around the outside of wires? Because it has a high ohms resistance, so it's not going to conduct the electricity. So using our multimeter, we're going to actually be able to tell why this happened to Henry. So I'm going to plug this into ohms resistance, and we're going to actually set our multimeter to ohms. Oh, I've already got it at ohms.
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so power that baby on.
Right.
And you'll see that there's nothing really going on there. Okay?
All right.
So, all I want you to do is same test, but with our multimeter.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to touch this to your tongue. As would be reminded in the book, do not stab this into your tongue.
It's going to give me a piercing.
Here we are.
Okay.
So about an inch apart, just like the battery. So when you do that, I'm going to just switch modes here so that we can see. So
everyone ready?
3, 2, 1, go. So we've got about, now does that hurt? 195 kilo ohms. 195 kilo ohms. Okay, so now do the same thing with your tongue. Dry it off.
It's like licking chalk, like that dry.
It's a bit sciencey tonight.
It feels so sciencey.
Okay, tongue's dry? Okay, same test. Go. Okay, so now we're getting, notice this is millions. So 1 point something million ohms. So we're getting a significantly higher ohms resistance.
Oh, yeah.
So when your tongue is dry, it's resisting the flow of electricity much higher than when it's moist. I said
trying
moist.
to go. Oh,
that's like that's a bad word to use these days.
Yeah, never on the internet.
So there you have it. I mean, that's a basic experiment to show you the difference in how ohms resistance affects the flow of electricity, and that is what these resistors is going to do for us when we're building some of our kit. So when we're building some of the fun things that we're going to be doing, these are going to create ohms resistance, or they provide ohms resistance to reduce the electrical flow, so that if we have a battery here that's 9 volts, we can reduce it to, say, 6 volts, or maybe 4 or 5 volts if we want to be able to plug in like LEDs and not make them burst.
Yeah.
But we're going to make some burst. We're going to make some explode for the sake of experimentation.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't learn this lesson ahead of time, and I remember blowing up my first LED.
Yeah?
A few weeks ago. That's quite.
Did it actually burst out, or did
No,
it just
it wasn't
go
that exciting. It just kind of like died, but
yeah.
Can I have more
Kit
power?
comes with a lot. The kit comes with a lot. Everything that we're going to be doing through the course of the series is going to be probably 9 volts or under.
Okay. So yeah, it's still safe, but you can still do some really fun stuff.
We're going to keep it safe. We're not going to be doing anything where we're going to need to, you know, work with high currents or anything like that. It's all very basic entry-level stuff. If you're familiar with it, I would encourage you, rather than saying, oh, I already know all this stuff, please become a part of the community and of the series by including yourself in the chat room, by sending us emails to correct my errors, or to even give your own feedback or experiences, and even your suggestions. If this is something that you're experienced with, we would love to have that, because we are actually learning along with you, our viewers, and really looking forward to what we're going to be doing. And I did pick up a TV.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay.
Absolutely free. Absolutely free. Ooh. And the goal is that near the end of this series, we're going to actually be taking that TV apart and repairing a TV that will not turn on.
That's exciting. Man, oh man.
And maybe it'll end up on the wall behind.
Yeah, this is how we're upgrading the studio.
Yes. We're going to learn how to fix things, and then we're going to fix them for the studio. One thing that I didn't remember to show you, Henry, is a grounding bracelet. Something like this. We're not doing anything that required grounding tonight, but what this does is it lets you, it's just something that you can put on, and then you can clip it onto a ground, such as the back of a metal computer.
Awesome.
Something like that. You can get stuff to, not only no shocks, but no damage to your peripherals if you have static electricity. I get shocked a lot when I touch light switches and stuff.
Shocking.
So this will protect your equipment so that it won't get damaged.
All right.
All right, so we're going to jump over to the newsroom. Henry has got it tonight, so Henry, over to you.
All right. I'm Henry Baillie-Brown, and here are the top stories, more like looking down because the prompter's down here today. The top stories for the week of April 12th, 2017. Microsoft revealed the specs for some forthcoming hardware, and it's nothing short of impressive. At the heart of the device will be an on-system chip packing 8 custom 32-bit CPU cores clocking up to 2.3 gigahertz apiece, plus 40 GPU cores at 1,172 megahertz apiece, for a total of over 6 teraflops of graphics crunching capacity. 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM will enjoy memory bandwidth of 326 gigabytes a second, a 1.2 terabyte hard disk, and a 4K Blu-ray round things out. That's a very great piece of product right there. Sadly, this is not a new desktop computer or server. It's the next Xbox, aka Project Scorpio. That is really, really impressive. Project Scorpio will be a significant device because all the power described above there, so that games can deliver 4K video and VR experiences. The new Xbox goes on sale just in time for Christmas. Oh my gosh, that just blows my mind. Just Project
amazing.
Scorpio, because from the gaming community, we've been hearing about Project Scorpio for a while.
Sounds like a cake.
It's a cake. But seriously though, that's incredible, and to know that that's a gaming console, right? Because I used to be a console player, but then I moved over to PC because of performance, everything else like that. But to learn that that's an Xbox, that's a gaming console.
I would love it for someone to hack it so that it could be turned into a little supercomputer.
Well, that's the thing too, is
so
that
ridiculously powerful.
It is Microsoft, so right now there is kind of a way how you can stream your games using Windows 10, and there is that capability. So I wonder if they are going to make it kind of a little bit more compatible with like PC usage, right? So like kind of how you said, I'm not sure if there's going to be any Linux
like
based.
a docking station or something.
Just something like that's just incredible.
You've got
really,
a 6 teraflop computer running Microsoft Word.
It's just got. Hey, you can write a pretty intense book with that.
Come up pretty fast. You know, no more waiting.
But no, I'm personally very impressed by that. Next up is a very interesting piece of news that has been all over the internet already. The sirens are usually used to warn of extreme weather events in Dallas, right? So a hacker has been blamed for setting off more than 150 warning sirens in the U.S. city of Dallas over the weekend. The sirens are usually to warn of extreme weather events such as tornadoes. All 156 sirens in the city were activated at 11:42 p.m. on Friday, and the noise lasted for about 90 minutes. Technicians for the Office of Emergency Management were eventually able to shut down the warning system and find what they said was the evidence of the siren system being hacked. Last year, someone hacked into a number of traffic signs in Dallas and used them to publish jokes. There has been no suggestion that the same people were involved in this current sirens incident. So that would be interesting, waking up at 11 p.m., hearing air raid sirens go off, not knowing what that was.
Oh,
that'd be a little bit scary.
The poor folks.
But
oh, yeah.
Well, no, because
are you in Dallas? Did you have to sit through that?
Well, no, because it would be scary too, because that happened after, I believe, the events in Sweden, right? Because there was an attack in Sweden off the road. So just hearing that, it would be very scary. So I'm happy to hear that it's just hacking and nothing too serious. So
it does kind of reveal this, like, this is an issue that, you know, that they need to tighten things up.
They do.
Maybe these things are, you know, how does this happen?
Well, really, I wonder if it's just like some 15-year-old saying, oh, what do I want to do tonight, right? Because we don't know yet. That's really
hacking to the sirens.
Hey, let's do it, guys.
Let's do it.
Not
Prove
trying
that it
to
can be done.
Say, okay, here we go. Yeah. Modern smartphones have a wealth of sensors inside, from accelerometers to gyroscopes. While sensors like these make phones more powerful, allowing to use your phone's orientation as an input mechanism in a video game, for example, they also do present a potential way for hackers to figure out a 4-digit PIN. Computer scientists from Newcastle University in the UK found that by monitoring sensors like the phone's, for example, accelerometer, gyroscope, magnetometer, and other sensors such as those, which detects things like the device's motion and orientation, they're able to figure out a user's PIN around 74% of the time just on the first guess alone. Jeez.
Wow.
The number rose to 94% by the third try that they attempted. That's just crazy. The entry point for the attack to detect the PIN was a JavaScript exploit delivered through the browser on the phone. All the smartphone user had to do was simply click on the link that had malicious software, and then that would detect the phone's sensor data going on in the background. So I wonder if that's both like Android as well as iPhones or anything else. So in the case of Safari, the method worked even when the phone was locked over the link. So like after the link had been clicked on, meaning that it could detect the PIN typed into an unlock the physical phone, the physical device. One researcher said that they reported their findings to Apple, who have since fixed the exploit. So Apple did fix the exploit. That fix happened last year as part of the iOS 9.3 update. Kevin Fu, an associate professor of electrical engineering and computer science at the University of Michigan, has said, quote, sensors may represent the weakest link in IoT security. So ambiguous, yet so untrustworthy and so poorly misunderstood, unquote. So just that entire segment right there, that's a little bit unnerving, right? Because it's something that we take for granted every single day, and it's sitting right there for hackers to exploit. And all it takes is one little link. And again, we never heard of this before today.
Here's my phone, and you're in a crowded room, or Henry's standing right next to you, so you're kind of like this when you put in your PIN, to realize that my little bumps of my fingers
are able to give it away to a JavaScript that's running in the background on my phone. It's creepy, but it's possible, and that's scary. And we didn't even know about this until today, and to know that Apple already knew about it and they fixed it, as they said. And there's other things out there like Touch ID and stuff, but who says that they don't use a JavaScript to try to unlock your fingerprints? The other thing that this opens up as kind of a revelation, and I think people need to maybe clue into this more, is that viruses are not the main threat that are out there right now. And I get this a lot where, you know, people don't want to get the security suite that is going to protect them against exploits because it costs more money. They just want the plain antivirus. And I have to explain, that's fine if that's what you want. That's absolutely fine. However, you need to understand that JavaScript, Flash, Adobe Flash, these are all entry points. Infected macros in Word documents that aren't viruses. They're entry points for exploits into your system. And when we realize, oh, my system can get exploited and damaged and compromised, or my privacy, like my PIN for my phone, compromised because of JavaScript. It's not a virus. Man, oh man.
It's just a JavaScript running in the background that can capture sensor data.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's
Yikes.
Apple, Android, anything else, it can still do it. So it's one thing to watch out for. And make sure that your PIN for your bank isn't the same as your phone, right?
Good idea. Good
knock
idea.
on wood. Okay, so moving on. Canonical is to stop developing Unity 8 convergence, Ubuntu phones and tablets. And Ubuntu 18.04 LTS will use GNOME instead of Unity as its default desktop.
Wow.
That's a little bit of a news right there. Unconfirmed rumors are circulating that Ubuntu's founder, Mark Shuttleworth, may be returning as Canonical's CEO, a role he stepped down from back in 2009. He indeed announced that Unity would be dropped with GNOME being the desktop of choice for Ubuntu moving forward. He says Canonical will invest in Ubuntu. GNOME will be the intent of delivering a fantastic all-GNOME desktop. So that experience really does affect Linux users out there.
We all know that he means canonical.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a Mac guy. Yeah, Canonical.
You know what? This came as a big shocker this week to realize that the old CEO, the founder of Ubuntu, Mark Shuttleworth, who we've had on the show, who left as the CEO, stepped down, is now kind of reprising some form of a role. We don't know to what extent, but the rumor is, this is only a rumor, Henry, maybe he's trying to get back in as CEO. We don't know that.
That's interesting.
And that's, you know, right now completely under embargo if it's even known. But regardless, the fact that they're dropping Unity, which is what pulled me away from Ubuntu in the first place, and going back to GNOME. Now it's GNOME 3, so it's not going back to the good old days of, you know, Warty Warthog and, you know, the GNOME 2 days. Might still want to go with Ubuntu Mate, but it's a big transition for Canonical. And to think that they are going to be now taking their investment time, revenue, dollars, and putting that into GNOME, the GNOME project that for a little while there was starting to look like maybe they didn't have what it took as a development team to continue on. And now they've got Canonical backing them up.
Yeah, that's
huge.
That's interesting to hear. Well, it's a little bit of like a repeat of history, right? Because like I remember back just in history class, like kind of like what Apple did with Steve Jobs, right? So like he came back when they were changing their user interface, right?
He redeemed the whole company.
Yeah, but this is really interesting to see because I don't want to say it's a repeat of his history, but we are seeing this sudden change out of nowhere.
I think we're at a time where we're going to see a lot of change with Ubuntu, with Canonical, and the direction that they're going to be taking. But we don't know what that's going to be yet. Yeah, because there hasn't been that official announcement, and you know, Mark's stepping up and saying what's going to happen next, other than this one big deal. Yeah.
So I apologize for mispronouncing a name there, guys.
It's all good.
But thanks again for watching the Category 5.tv newsroom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all of your tech news with a slight Linux bias. And for more free content, be sure to check out our website. From the Category 5.tv newsroom, I'm Henry Baillie-Brown.
Thank you, Henry. Well done. This is Category 5 Technology TV. Sasha is away, and so the makers have played.
Oh, it's past
And Henry
tense.
read the news. Yeah, I know.
That's depressing. No, just kidding. I read the news from my laptop. Again, guys, if you're just joining with us, we don't have a teleprompter, so I have to read down here today.
Sasha
Sorry.
usually gets the teleprompter. Henry's just
But again, she's away on vacation because she's invisible, so she can go anywhere she wants without having to pay.
She could be everywhere.
She is everywhere.
We've got some real quick ones that came in via email and YouTube comments and everything else. Thank you so much for getting your feedback in. We appreciate that. Okay. Heavy Metal Demon on Twitter asked us, a little tongue-in-cheek question here. If I ran Steam VR on a severely underpowered PC laptop, could it catch fire?
Let's give it a go. Let's try it.
First of all, it depends on whether it is sitting on top of a Bunsen burner. You may want to set it on fire if this was to happen to you, and claim the insurance money. So
well, here's the thing:
a more powerful computer
to run Steam VR. I know that you need at least a GTX. I think it's a 980 or something. There is a cap for Steam VR, I think.
Wow.
So because I remember I had an old graphics. Well, I know for Steam, anyways. that they have this development. It's free, you can download, but it tests your computer. If you go onto Steam, it's a free VR testing kit you can download for free, and it runs the program, takes around 5 minutes, and it'll tell you your performance, right? So
or just laugh at you.
If you're awesome, it's green. If it's yellow, it's kind of like you can do it with like subpar settings. If it's red, then don't, because
don't
you
even
might
bother.
Yeah, it's not worth the FPS that you're gonna get. It maybe 10, 15 FPS. It's not worth it. But yeah, because like I know I upgraded to GTX 1060 when it first came out, and I'm in the green. It works perfectly fine with me. So with that being said, if you're trying to run Steam VR on a older laptop, I'm not sure, because VR, even if it's like a simple little game, like a 2D, like a really simple texture game, it's still a huge processing power, because it has to take in all the sensor data for every single frame, right? Depending what program you're doing. So I wouldn't say it would literally explode, but it wouldn't be worth it just for like 10 frames a second.
It's like, it's like Chris's question last week about why we don't shoot more 360 video. And I'd love to, but VR video is very expensive.
It is.
That's what you guys didn't
for now.
That's what you guys didn't touch on. So consider that it has to be 4K, because if you're looking at a 360 view, you're probably only looking at 960 p. Right? Because it's a 4K wrapped around you and above you and under you. So when you're looking at it in VR with your headset, you're only looking at a very small piece of the video. But the whole video exists, regardless of whether you're looking at it or not.
Well, that's what I read, is that the human eye is technically around 8K. So to have like true HD, so like not to, because right now what VR is, you can still see the pixels, so it's like you're looking through a fence. But to get rid of that effect fully, we would need at least a small, that little sensor that you're looking at, that little TV, whatever you want to call it, it has to be at least 8K to get rid of that effect fully, to make it indistinguishable.
And then the video source would probably have to be just as high.
Yeah, if not higher.
So if you consider 8K, and you're only looking at maybe 1/16 of the video at any given time, so 16 times 8 is how many K you're going to need for that video.
Yeah, and it's
That's
like,
nuts.
can even the GTX 1060, 1080 run that?
So somebody said to me, why not upload just a 1080p version? So if you consider a 1080p wraparound VR video,
that's nothing, right?
You'd be looking at it and it would be only 240. You'd be looking at it, it'd be so terrible, because it wouldn't even be that high. 1080p, you'd probably be looking at like a 144p video in front of you, and you turn around and it's 144p,
hey, a pixel.
no matter where you look. So we got to keep that in mind as well. C128D, oh, come on, man.
Right when she's not here today.
She's not here. Sasha is cuter than you are, Robbie. You're lucky I like you.
I'm sorry, but I have to agree with them.
Thanks, man. Bud. Thanks, C128D.
You're welcome, Sasha.
How did this even get onto the printout? Okay, here's one from Darren Headland. He was watching our feature on the Plex Media server that, that we built on a Raspberry Pi. I forgot to mention that.
Beautiful.
We built a Plex Media server on here. Yeah.
Approved.
Darren says, fantastic show you've got here. Thank you. Your steps work perfectly.
Woohoo.
Please note, change your keyboard layout from UK to US in order to use the pipe character.
That is so true.
Having that. Yeah, okay, fantastic tip. Thank you so much, Darren. He goes on to share some info about how we can mount a network share as the video library, which lets you store a ton of movies on your NAS, which is fantastic. So make sure you check out the comment on episode number 459 on our YouTube channel. You'll see it there at cat5.tv/YouTube. Jumping down to John Brown, who has a question for me. Do you want to take that one?
I will totally take this one.
I will take the answer.
I will be John for a moment. All right. So, Robbie,
yes,
why
John?
do you not do a show? Like a show?
A show?
Yeah. So on the PTZ camera
show.
are evaluating?
The PTZ camera.
Yeah,
okay, so
I see
first of
that.
all, the evaluation of the PTZ camera was interesting because it was not our camera to evaluate. That one, John, came in as they needed to test the camera to make sure it worked before they bought it.
Oh, okay.
So they used our studio and plugged it in and tested it. I had the opportunity, and that's why there was no voiceover and there was no real testing. It was just quickly testing that it worked.
Oh, okay.
So I was then able to utilize the clip from that and
That
show
makes
you
sense.
the camera. So I didn't have the opportunity to review it in depth because it wasn't ours to review.
Still got your hands on it though. Still
Had our hands on it. It's fantastic, and it gave us a chance to say, hey, this is a really good solution for our studio.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get one. I was talking to our rep at B&H, cat5.tv/BH, and they were saying that really the 1080p version is going down by the wayside because 4K is where it's at for even the PTZ cameras. Could you imagine a 4K PTZ camera
here in the studio?
They already look exceptional
Oh my
because
gosh.
it's optical zoom. Imagine 4K as your source. That'd be nuts.
I think we would kill the cell signal here, though. Although we just give out 1080p.
We'll just record the disc.
Yeah, there you go.
4K. John, please head on over to donate.category5.tv and you can throw a little something in the tip jar.
Or the
and we'll
Patreon.
put it toward it. And
Or Patreon
is
as
a
well, either
fantastic
or.
way, yeah.
Because like knowing that, because there's so many amazing people out there that support the show every single month, and it really does help us.
We appreciate it so much. We've got this month is flying by. I don't know how it happens, but
It's almost May.
I feel like I just paid rent and now it's coming due again. And April was a bit of a rough month that way because here's what happened. The end of the month fell on a Friday. I think it was, or maybe a Saturday.
Got to get down on Friday.
It was a Friday.
Yep.
So Wednesday night, we did our show. Thursday night, we did post-production. Friday, we uploaded it. Saturday, we put it on Patreon. It's a lot of work to post-process the show.
Yeah.
So we never got our patronage for last week's episode. No, not last week's. The week before that. The end of March.
Okay.
The last episode of March rolled into April.
Oh, okay. I see.
So anyone who has a cap on April, we're not going to get any support for that. So if you're a patron, and you have a cap, then please consider throwing a little extra in the tip jar. That's going to help us that way. Adrian M. watched our Action Cam comparison review and shares that he found it to be a nice, proper review. And I appreciate that very, very much.
No, it was, though, because it was non-biased, and you did a good job
That's what I was going for. Exactly what I was going for. So some people don't get it. Some people just want to, they want the bias. I didn't do it. I didn't provide GoPro for a reason. And part of that was planned obsolescence of the GoPro devices.
Dun, dun, dun.
Linux Dirk watched an episode that featured, this was our March break special, Mine Test versus Minecraft. And commented about Mangle 70 and Noah and said, we need more kids like this. I have hope in our future. And a lot of great comments on that feature where, people are just blown away that these kids get that open source matters.
It's so true.
How cool is that?
And it's like, it's weird because like my generation, like I'm 22 now, I think my generation was the last one to really grow up without Google and all that stuff. And to look at these kids, they're so smart, they're like right into technology, just man, like the sky's no longer the limit, they're going to be out there, they're going to be doing so many amazing things.
It's going to be an exciting time, isn't it?
Oh,
for sure.
I feel old now. I'm sorry.
I feel old now. All right, well, that's all the time that we have. Henry, always
Robbie.
a pleasure having you here, my man.
It's always good to be here.
cat5.tv/maker to grab a copy of your book and not a copy, but the kit.
Your own kit
get
there.
us started because we're going to need this for a lot of the features that we're going to be doing.
And you know what? I wonder if they get the kit too. They can play along with us, right?
Absolutely.
So like,
that's the plan.
Being live, you guys can have your own
yourself a
kit.
9-volt battery, folks. You can experience the show just like Henry.
You can
did.
be Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars Episode 1 if you get that reference.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
Sorry.
All right. Have a fantastic week. Sasha's back with us next week, and it is going to be episode number 500. That's a big deal. We're going to have some fun, and we've got some prizes to give away as well, so make sure you are here live next week on the show if you can be, and we look forward to seeing you. And make sure you've got Skype ready for us as well, because if we've got a good internet connection, we're going to welcome you to give us a call.
Oh, that's
and
exciting.
say hello. So hopefully that'll work out as far as the technology goes, and we'd love to have you Skype into us and tell us about what the show has meant to you.
That's exciting.
500 weeks, folks. That's happening next week. So
time flies.
Does it ever? Wow. Have a great night and a wonderful week. See ya.